My flight from Denver to Los Angeles to Fiji to Auckland, New Zealand took 23 hours. It was a joy to be met at the Auckland airport by schoolmate Derek Bean. His sister Heather was a classmate whom we sadly lost to cancer some years back. The drive to Mangawhai, where classmate Glenys Robinson Mather and her husband David lived, took about 3 hours. Waiting there was schoolmate Alan Robinson and his wife Yvonne. We had such a good time talking about school days in India and getting reacquainted with each other. Glenys made us a delicious pizza. The first morning I sat on their porch looking out at the Pacific Ocean in the direction of the United States from where I had flown. Some early morning kayakers were headed out below. Glenys and David live in a lovely home on a bluff overlooking the ocean. I wished I had had my drone to get a better picture from a distance out. We walked along the beach below their house. Sunday morning found us on the beach on a blustery, cold morning doing some research fishing. I was glad I was the photographer rather than the ones doing the fishing. David Mather and a friend were dragging a net collecting the very small fish that provide food for the almost extinct fairy terns. There are currently only 32 living fairy terns, and this and other groups along the coast of New Zealand are doing what they can to save the species from extinction. Glenys and some of her friends measured and recorded the length of every fish caught before they were returned to the water.
40, 35, 35.
Every month, it is an all-morning operation. The nets are dragged 3 times at 4 different locations. After wrapping up this location, the team headed to the next 3 locations along the beach in a chilling cold operation that takes all morning long. Eventually, I will meet all 3 of Glenys and David's children and their families. It was a joy to stop for coffee at the home of their son Nigel's home and meet his wife Leah and their children Deacon, Noah, and Harvey. On Tuesday morning, we headed north from Mangawhai. Partway to our destination, we stopped for a half-an-hour walk in the rain through the Waipura forest. Before the land had been cleared for farming, most of the surrounding countryside was thick forested like this. I did not take many pictures because of the heavy rain. However, I did get the camera out and take a picture of the 2,000-year-old Lord of the Forest, as it is called, the largest of the kauri trees. Glenys and David slept that night in a lodge. I had my first night in their camper van, which did not have a name, but let's call her Nellie. The next day, shortly before we got to Tutukaka, our destination for the night, we stopped to view the coast of the Pacific Ocean. We stayed at the Tutukaka Holiday Park, which is like our KOA campgrounds in the United States. While taking a stroll along the marina, we watched a fishing boat about to put out to sea. A dump truck was unloading a full load of ice into their boat. The crew of 3 will head out at 4 in the morning and be back at noon with a boatload of fish. Walking further, we learned about the wildlife of the area and the original inhabitants. I was amazed to learn that before 700 years ago, or at least 1,000 years ago, long after Europeans had reached the shores of North America, the islands had not yet been discovered by human beings, and there were no mammals anywhere on the island. Without mammals as predators, birds ruled. The moa bird had grown to 9 to 10 feet tall and provided a good food source for the early Polynesians who arrived. They ate them though into extinction. Before heading back to Mangawhai, we took quite a hike to a lighthouse atop a mountain. To get there, we had to first descend to the sea and then head back up. It was a beautiful day, and I could not stop taking pictures of the beautiful ocean scenes. I appreciated the 3 days of traveling with David riding shotgun as I got acquainted with their much larger than Henry 6-speed manual transmission camper van and driving on the left-hand side of the road. On my last day before traveling south in Nellie alone, Glenys and I drove to Auckland. In Auckland, we toured the Earth Song community where Glenys and her family lived for 10 years. Earth Song is an eco-neighborhood and co-housing community. Glenys enjoyed meeting good friends from the past. We then drove on to their daughter Hillary's home in Auckland. I was happy for Pablo to bring Nellie into their drive where I slept. That night, Pablo cooked us an amazingly delicious pizza dinner using ceramic oven inserts. It was a joy meeting Hillary, Pablo, Luca, and Sophia. I look forward to learning a whole lot more about the beautiful country of New Zealand.